Welcome to Toffee TV. I am joined by Jazz Bal, who is the chair of the Everton Fan Advisory Board. There's a lot going on at Everton at the moment. There was a meeting, there was a letter put in last week, signed by a lot of fan groups, ourselves included. There's been a lot of talk at the moment. The fan base is, it's angry. It's angry, and we're looking at people like you for answers. I think, mate, because just before, if anyone doesn't know, just give us a very quick, brief overall view of what the Fan Advisory Board is supposed to do.
Okay, so the Fan Advisory Board got set up in July, early July. We all met for the first time with the aim of having sort of strategic involvement in key decisions at the football club. To make sure that fans' voices are heard at all levels, at the highest levels in the club. Now, obviously, only created in July, it's taken a little while to get organised, all the non-glamorous things, constitutions, you know what I mean, terms of reference, code of conduct, all the sort of the things that make us organised. So sort of over that period, we've been meeting monthly. We've also had 2 quarterly meetings with Everton. So the first one was in July when we first met, and then we had another in October. But we're finally, sort of the end of November, we got to the stage where we were finally there or thereabouts to start doing some sort of meaningful stuff. So if you look at what we have been doing in November, there was the 12 months from the fan-led review. So that's obviously a strategic issue that's going to affect all teams in England. So that came up to an all-party parliamentary group that was taking place on the 15th of November down in the House of Lords. So in advance of that, we were lobbying local MPs. And we were asking them to make sure, we were asking them to attend this APPG for football supporters, and we were also asking them to support the full embodiment of all the recommendations of fan-led review. And on top of that, Julie, our secretary, actually went down to London and attended the meeting and asked Tracy Crouch direct on behalf of Evertonians about the time frame and this white paper and whatever else. And one of the things that came out of that meeting was that there would be an independent regulator. Also in December, when the ticket prices were released about Man United, we obviously felt a bit aggrieved because normally in the Premier League there's across the Premier League it's got agreed in 2017, got re-voted last year that all away fans will only get charged £30. That sort of happens a little bit in the Championship on a reciprocal basis. So if clubs have that agreement, they can put a price cap on it. And it's obviously very disappointing to see that we're either going to get charged £45 or £46. So we sort of got together, put a statement out. That got a sort of lot of attention. On the back of that, we also wrote to the FA, to Mark Bullingham, the chief guy there. And now we've set up a meeting with the Director of Public Relations for the FA. So we're going to be meeting with them. And then also in December as well, we've got to the stage now where we absolutely recognise what sort of the movement at the moment and fan sentiment. And let's be clear, none of us are happy at Evertonians at the moment. You know what I mean? It's not one to beat around the bush. You show me an Evertonian who's happy that we're at the bottom of the league. You know what I mean? I'll say, he's a fucking cop-out. Oh, pardon my French. But no, what I mean? None of us are happy with where we are at the moment. Not trying to take anything away from the campaign than it's now or anything like that, but in effect, they've done their letter, you just signed up to it, and it's gone straight to Masheri, asking the owner questions about sort of replacing the chairman, the board, the executive. Where the Fan Advisory Board sits, where, as opposed to taking a view, we're an organisation that has to represent all fans. Now, individual members of the Fan Advisory Board have strong opinions. You may see on social media that some of these accounts have signed up to the Ennis Now statement. So I think all that makes it a broad church and obviously helps the conversation go. But where we sit is we speak with the highest levels of the club. So we've got an opportunity now to canvass this fan opinion. We didn't just want to take it off Twitter, because we want to meet fans. We want to see what they got to say. And we want to hear it from the fans' mouth, in effect. We want to speak to all Evertonians, give everyone the opportunity to tell us what they think, to give us questions that if they want them asking direct of the board, give us them, and then we'll take them to the club. Now, because we deal with the club at the highest levels, I'd like to think that would elicit a response from the club. So I suppose that's the sort of background to what we are, how we got to now, and obviously in terms of the meetings that we've just announced today that we'll be going forward.
Yeah, it's, you know, you are deemed or as a shadow board in a way.
Yeah.
That's always been.
I think that's the terminology.
That's always been the term, hasn't it? And you are. I suppose you're right. You've got to not be maybe neutral's not the right way, but you are right. You've got to represent all fans, haven't you? And you are giving fans an opportunity. There's going to be 2 face-to-face meetings. The first one is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. at the Blue Base, and then on Sunday at 1 o'clock at in the Hot Walk, which a lot of people will appreciate that.
And just on that quickly, so ideally we wouldn't have had it in any sort of club real estate because we want to maintain our independence. So we obviously this only came about from last Thursday. We committed that within 2 weeks we would have had these sessions, but because of the short time frame, St Luke's is unavailable, for example. So we want to make sure that we had a fully accessible venue so that these sessions that we're having are inclusive, and the Blue Base was probably the natural choice there, even though it is officially Everton Community Real Estate. It is fully accessible, and a lot of Everton members, for example, go there on a match day anyway. So, we had to. That was, I suppose, a happy compromise of where we could have it.
To be honest, mate, I don't think there's any issue with it where it is. I think, to be honest, the Blue Base should be open for things like this. It is a community. It's for the Everton community, as far as I'm concerned. It should be a place where fans. There's too much of this us and them thing. This is our football club. These people might own it, but this is our football club.
They're temporary custodians.
There shouldn't be this idea of an us and them situation, especially as you're the person the people who are going to represent the fans and all the fan base. So I think it's absolutely spot on, that is. And the Hot Walk is just for added food.
Basically. We all like food.
Yeah, we all like food. So so there's two meetings that people can attend. Can people just turn up for these?
So they can, but we'd rather people got in touch with us purely so that we know what numbers we're expecting.
You know
what I mean? We're not going to be keeping any data or whatever else. It's purely in terms of, in fact, they haven't even asked for names. We've just asked for people, if they are attending one of the face-to-face ones, we've just asked them to get in touch with us. So some people have just done on a Twitter handle, and that's fine. However, for the virtual ones, that we'll probably come on to in a minute.
There's 2 virtual ones. This Thursday, 7 p.m. on Zoom, and on Monday at 7 p.m. As well on Zoom. So how do people get involved in that?
So either DM us or send an email to chair@efc-fanadvisoryboard.com. Now we are asking for names and email addresses on that, but that's more to do with sending out all the links to the meetings. And as soon as the meeting's held, finished, whatever else, then all the personal details will be getting scrubbed.
So and that when the Hot Walk one, there'll be people registering because they'll probably just want to put their order in. But so what are you looking to get out of these meetings?
Okay, so number one, we're not there. We're not the club.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not the club. We're fan representatives, I suppose. So what we want to do is we want to give every Evertonian the opportunity to come to us and tell us what their current thoughts are about the club.
Yeah.
If they want to ask questions of the club, give us the questions. We're not there to argue the toss or anything now. I've obviously been sort of in and about sort of working with Everton for a little while now, so I did 3 years in the forum before coming here, so I've got like a little bit of exposure in terms of the club's articles of association, for example, and stuff like that. So if the way the conversation goes, I won't be speaking on behalf of the club, but I may be sort of trying to draw out information that I'm privy to, and just to make sure it's a bit more structured, so then when we do present it. So for example, the Articles of Association say there's going to be 3 executive members of the board. So if people say sack the board, I'll say, okay, well, at the moment, just explain who's on the board. The articles say we need 3 exec directors, and just try and tease out a few questions on that, just so that it is all structured. And that way, at least when we present it to the club, it's more likely to listen
because
to response.
Ultimately, and I've said this on shows we've done, it's like, sack the board is a very general thing to sing, and it does. You are trying to get a point across, but there is more to it than that. There is obviously legal stuff that has to go, and you can't just get rid of a board and not have a sitting board at a company. You need to have board members. So because I found this is that people tend to say things that aren't always true, and then it gives the club an opportunity to come back and go, you said this thing which is not real, we could never do this, or you lied about that, or you give an incorrect fact about this thing. See it all the time. People try and get a point across by maybe going a little bit over the top. And just to illustrate that, I seen Alan Shearer last week, some of our Everton managers, and he said, like, we'd been through 9 managers under Farhad Moshiri. That immediately gives the club a chance to come back and go, we haven't though, that's nonsense. So everything else you're saying is nonsense. It gives them an opportunity. So it is important that you do get people to understand what can happen and what is right and what is wrong.
And it's, as you say, it's about presenting a case, a series of questions, statements to the senior levels of the club, the board, the executive, the board, so that if it's done in the right way, hopefully that will elicit the response, and that's what we want.
And fans,
ultimately, we're not happy. You can't hide facts. If you look at the accounts and you see years and years losses now, there may be lots of different reasons for that. That might be because of the recruitment wasn't smart, and they're the sort of the big figure numbers that you see. You can't get away from the number of managers we've had. You know what I mean? There's lots of truths that you got to be a realist about. I mean, these are all facts. You're not just making them up. So it's just about
well, it's about having a conversation with them in a way that I imagine they would expect. They're not gonna. Number one is are you expecting anyone from Everton at these meetings?
No. So if that was the case, it'd be Everton's meetings. It wouldn't be ours. But I mean, to give you an old analogy of when I was in the army, so we used to do like duties in the mess hall, and you go around and you see the private soldiers and like that, how's the food, and like that, it's shit, and like that. Why is it shit? Because it's shit. Now, if you go in at our level with that, you're not going to get anything out of them, are you? But if we went back and said, well, they said the chicken was undercooked, the fries have been on the hot plate too long, blah, 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 you're being constructive with it.
I get that. No, I think what you're saying is spot on, because I think there has to almost be 2 plans of attack here. Fans will be there on Saturday voicing their opinions after the game. They'll be supporting the team through the game, before the game, after the game, they'll and they want the media attention. The club don't respond to stuff like that. Well, what I mean is, on the face of it, they don't respond to that. They're not gonna send someone else who's gonna have a conversation with someone about what they're doing. It's great. It gets media attention, and I think it's absolutely spot on. People should be protesting if they feel like things are wrong, and that's in all ways. But what you're doing is
we will never tell any Evertonian how to support Everton.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's different ways to attack. There's that way, which drives on, which the media can attach to. And then the media can start asking questions as well, which is what they obviously are at the moment. And then there's the other plan is obviously yourselves finding out what the points are. Because like I said, sack the board is such a broad thing to say. Get into the fine detail that then you can then go and speak to them. And whether people like the fans forum, whether they like what you're doing with the Fab, they are here, they are representative. And it's important that, and I always think public meetings are huge. It's the same thing I said last week to the guys from NS Now. It's like, you've got to go and speak to people. Twitter isn't real. You've got to go and speak to people face to face.
And in terms of the meetings themselves, I mean, there will be a sort of a three parts of it, I suppose. An introduction, so we'll tell people who we are as the Fab. I mean, what we plan to get out of this session. The second part will be just an open conversation. Now, we may be probing little bits of information, but all that's going to be getting scribed down. And then at the end of it, the summary of the meeting, we're going to turn around to everyone who's attended and share what we think the feedback is, so that it's all agreed by everyone who's been there. Now, what we're not going to do is share each meeting's notes immediately, because we don't want to sort of limit conversation for the future meetings. However, once all 4 meetings have taken place, we'll be doing a consolidated summary, and we'll be publishing that, and we'll be sending it to the board, or to the senior levels of the club. So everybody who has attended the meetings will have had the chance to agree on what the meeting outputs are, and they'll also be able to validate that they have been captured in the actual summary that goes to the club.
I think this has got to be the number one question for you. Is, do they have to come back to you, the board?
They don't have to, but ultimately, the club has been very supportive of the fan advisory board. So I genuinely feel that if we do this in the right way and present structured questions or what have you, that they'll be in a position where they have to engage with us.
Because I think that's really important, because fans are asking questions now. There was obviously a letter put in last week, no response at the time of recording. The media are asking questions. Yeah. There's absolute silence from the club.
Yeah.
There's no one talking at the moment. We'll have to wait till probably Frank Lampard's press conference on Friday to hear his thoughts. He's not really giving thoughts out on it because he's the manager. He's under enough pressure. I think for me personally, what you're doing is brilliant, because it's a avenue that is open to us now, and we should be attacking from all fronts, because all we want is the best for Everton Football Club, and like you just said there, this is something Everton helped set up, so they should play into it, and if they don't play into it, then it gives us as a fan base more ammunition to say they are simply not listening. They're not listening at any level.
And to be clear, this isn't the first time this has happened. So rewind 12 months or whatever for the forum. In previous guys, the forum at a similar time as last year, wasn't it? You know what I mean? When the 27 campaign was there, the originals had their thoughts, and there's if you know your history campaign, the People's Club campaign, and we met with all three of these, and we turned around and we got all the notes and we summarised it and we presented that back to the club. Now at the time the forum was at an operational level, so where it'll be different this time is it's going straight into the top of the club, as opposed to a lower level and asking them to elevate it, if you like.
Yeah, I think it's really important that fans get a chance to speak their mind at all levels. So this is hugely important. So obviously,
and also on that, here's your opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the amount of comments, compared to the amount of people who actually get in touch, I mean, this is your opportunity to come and speak to us and get your thoughts captured.
And ultimately, as well, a lot of people don't want to go to the match and have to deal with this. They don't want to do that. They want to go to the game and support the team, and this is where there is divisions, where it's about getting the message right and saying, well, hang on, we're in a relegation battle. We don't want to be. People don't want to be sitting there singing "sack the board" during the game. They want to be back in the team. So these meetings,
which I personally agree with, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While the 90 minutes is on, well, do you know what? It's probably the best part of 105 minutes at the moment, isn't it? But while the match is on, let's just get behind the boys on the pitch.
Yeah, and that's I've got no issue with that whatsoever. I mean, when the fourth goal goes in against Brighton, you can fully understand why. But there is that. So this is an opportunity for everyone. And I think what fans have got to do is be open to everything now and every avenue of attack. So if you are sitting there and you have thinking they're not listening to me, this is an opportunity to go. You know, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Blue Base. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Hot Walk, or the two Zoom meetings, 7 o'clock on Thursday, 7 o'clock on Monday. There's your opportunity to get involved and be part of getting your voice heard, and so these guys can put it to the club. And I think you know that anyone who's got any feelings about what's going on at the moment, this is a great opportunity.
Don't leave it in your head.
Yeah.
Get to one of these meetings. As I say, we're not asking for names for the face-to-faces. It's just numbers we're trying to keep a grip on. Obviously, we don't want the Hot Walk or the Blue Base to get in trouble because too many people turn up, for example.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I'm also so we can get chairs set up and whatever else in that. But please come down and tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah, brilliant. If you need to know any more details, all the details will be in the description of this video. Get over to what's your Twitter account for the FAD?
So it's AFC_fan advisory.
There you go. We'll retweet all that as well. So big thanks for Jazz for coming in, telling us all about those meetings, and let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you get in touch with the guys if you're going to the meetings as well. There you go. Thank you for watching. See you later.